Do you ever leave a party and then you just think of the perfect thing that you could have said, but the moment passed you by and you missed your opportunity? This just happened to me yesterday because I was doing an analysis of how Trump and Biden were, to a degree, predicted by Plato's Republic 2,400 years ago. And I was just, doing an analysis of the downfall of democracy because it was a Wednesday and I'm a nerdy, that's what I do on a Wednesday. Plato explains the limits of democracy through an analogy that he calls the ship of state, which you can watch my whole video about that I posted on the widescreen website. The short version is that the people who become captain of a ship are not the people who are best navigators, but the people who are best at convincing others that they should be in charge. Politics and expertise in leadership and direction and ethics are different skill sets. Democracy, which I am for, is more often going to elect the people with skill in politics as opposed to the people with skill in leadership. It's the ship of state 2,400 years ago. The insight that I was having that I could have said so much better comes in connecting Plato to this book, The Sum of Us by Heather McGhee. This is one of my favorite books. It's unstickified within an inch of its life. I've covered it in other videos, but it discusses social welfare programs and how we often get caught in discussions about who is deserving of what, who deserves to be housed, who deserves healthcare, who deserves to eat. We ask these questions in society, and they might just be red herring questions. You have to watch the full video for the full analysis, but the conclusion that we came to is that democracy often leads to oligarchy because democracy can elect the persuasive people as opposed to the people that actually have the good interests of the people at heart. I left the party and I thought of the better way to say it, right? What I said in the video was that we should reframe the question of social welfare programs as an individual question. Does this individual deserve it? And we should instead think of social welfare programs in a collective understanding. If we think of social welfare programs as a tool to combat corporate oligarchy, it might make some more sense. But that's still not the better way to say it. We were discussing it behind closed doors on the Patreon, and Ursula, whose last name I'm hiding because I didn't ask her if I could put this here, explains that the better way to say this is checks and balances. Americans love checks and balances. It's baked into the whole three arms of government and just sort of the whole way that we understand the world. But we don't have a collective concept of economic checks and balances. Plato teaches us that democracies eventually collapse. Plato's own democracy collapsed around him, and then he wrote this book, Democratic Socialism, insofar as it is a movement of resources away from the oligarchs and into the working class, might be the kind of economic checks and balance that we need. Okay, bye. Footnote, Chapter 10, Solidarity Dividend, goes into this, but from a different angle. Happy reading.